Hello, YouTube divers. This is WaterDive 122, and I want to welcome you all to another episode of Magic Metal Mondays. So, today we are going to be reviewing another Sonata Arctica album, now that I've cooled off from whatever the heck Stones Grow Her Name was. And we're going to be reviewing their 2014 album, Pariah's Child. So, this album followed up Stones Grow Her Name, and it is the final album to feature a major lineup change within the band. Gone is founding bass player Marko Pasikowski, and in is current bass player Pasi Kaponen. Right off the bat, I'll say he is an amazing bass player, and he really shines on this album, if you ask me. But we'll get into that later. But other than that, the lineup for this album is pretty much the same as every other album since the days of Grays. You have Toni Kakko behind the mic, Elias Viljanen on the guitars, Henrik Klickenberg on the keys, and Tommy Portimo on drums. So, yeah. So there's that. Pretty much the same lineup, and now they have a new bass player. So there's that. So, if y'all remember from my Sonata Arctica album ranking, this Pariah's Child was one of my favorite albums from the band. It was a massive improvement over Stones Grow Her Name, and I found it to be very lush. I found it to be very atmospheric. I found it to be essentially a return to form, just with a whole new lineup. But yeah, we're going to get into all the songs. There's 10 tracks on here, so without further ado, let's get this party started. So right off the bat, the album opens up with one of my favorite tracks from Sonata Arctica. It would probably be in my top 20, top 15 songs the band's ever done. That is The Wolves Die Young. I love the key changes. I love the songwriting decor throughout this cut, and I especially love that bass solo at the very beginning from Pasi Kaponen. Great way to initiate him into the band, if you ask me. And yeah, The Wolves Die Young is my favorite song from this album, and that's saying something because there are a lot of good songs on this album. So yeah, The Wolves Die Young. What more do you want me to say? It's a phenomenal track, definitely one of their best songs. Then we have another song, Running Lights, which is very similar in the vein of The Wolves Die Young. Both of them are killer power metal tracks with great melodies and great performances from everyone in the band. But with Running Lights, it doesn't really do a lot in terms of key shifting throughout the song, but it makes up for it for its catchy melodies and killer performances from everyone in the band. Definitely a great power metal track, and again, one of the most underrated cuts from Sonata Arctica. Then we have the most proggiest song on this entire album, and that is Take One Breath. Right off the bat, it kicks in with a very Dream Theater Symphony X-like rhythm and drum beats. It just feels very proggy and wonky and way out in left field, but unlike with some of the experiments from Stones Grow Her Name, looking at you, Cinder Blocks, Take One Breath was way better executed, if you ask me. There are some bits and pieces throughout the song that I don't really care for, and it does suffer from some of the same production issues as some of the previous albums did, but overall, I think this is one of the more weaker tracks on this album. Not terrible, but not really a song I would come back to if I had the choice. That said, following this song, we get back-to-back bangers. Starting off with Cloud Factory, which probably has one of the catchiest choruses that Sonata Arctica has ever delivered. I swear, the melody in this chorus very much reminds me of the Drunken Sailor Sea Shanty, which is funny, but which is kind of funny, melodically speaking, but the melody itself is very beautiful. It's very beautiful. It's very atmospheric. And even though it does kind of rip off a silly song, it works. It works. the whole song flows very well. Love Cloud Factory. It's no wonder why this song is probably the most popular song on the album. And then we have Blood, which is a very good power metal song. It does start off kind of weak sauce, but as the song continues to build and progress, it gets better and better. And this is kind of a theme that you'll see throughout the rest of the album. All the songs kind of start off meh, but they get better and better as they go on. And Blood is, in my opinion, one of the best examples of that. Then we have another quote-unquote weak song from this album, What Did You Do in the War, Dad? Now, I love it when Sonata Arctica tackles heavier topics, and I love their slower songs and their more melodramatic cuts. It's very beautiful, it's very lush, and very emotional. I mean, take for instance Tellula and The Last Drop Falls from Silence, or Letter to Dana from Ecliptica, or Shaman Dalai from Reckoning Night. Those are some great examples there. But What Did You Do in the War, Dad? While lyrically it's very moving, musically speaking, not really. I still think the music is good enough to serve its purpose, but it doesn't move me like some of Sonata Arctica's other more emotional stuff. And also considering what we have on this album, I do think that what Did You Do in the War, Dad is kind of on the weaker side of things. That said, the following track, Half a Marathon Man, another one of the more popular songs on this album, knocks it out of the park. I love the quieter sections at the very beginning and at the very end, and then when the whole band comes in, oh boy, you are in for one rockin' ride, I will tell you that. Half a Marathon Man, great power metal song, love it. Then we get the weakest track on this album, X Marks the Spot. And the worst thing about this song are those completely unnecessary spoken word sections throughout the entire song. Was it really necessary? Like, was this intentional? Was this what you really wanted to do here, Tony? I don't know, but X Marks the Spot, not a fan of this song. And it definitely feels like a song that could have easily been on the Stones' Grow Her Name album. I really don't think it fits on here. But I will say, even for its lowest points, the song is kind of funny if you look at it, if you listen to it in a proper way. But yeah, X Marks the Spot, definitely the weakest track on this album. But fortunately, though, this album does end off strong with two amazing songs. You have Love, which is an amazing power ballad. Definitely a very underrated power ballad from them. And this is kind of a theme that Sonata Arctica would do on following albums. They would have just these amazingly beautiful and atmospheric power ballads. And Love is one of the best examples, if you ask me. Lyrically wise, it might be a little bit face palming, but it makes up for it just from that beautiful atmosphere and that beautiful songwriting. And then the album closes off with a 10-minute epic, Larger Than Life. And this is another one of those examples where it starts off kind of weak, but as the song builds, it continues to just get better and better. And with this song being 10 minutes long, oh boy, there are a lot of epic moments throughout the cut. But I will say the worst part of this song is around the beginning section. I would say probably around the 2 to 3 minute mark. There's this weird vocal blender. I don't really know how else to describe it, where way too many things are happening at once. It's an issue that I've complained about on Unaya and the Days of Grays to an extent, and especially on Stones Grow Her Name, and even in some parts of Winterheart's Guild. But it's like I said, Larger Than Life completely makes up for it, for those amazing melodies, those catchy choruses and verses. and just superb songwriting. What more do you want me to say? Larger Than Life, definitely one of their best epics. So, overall, Pariah's Child, massive improvement over what in the world Stones Grow Her Name was. um, the experimentation is a lot better on here. The production is miles better than anything that we've gotten from Unaya, Stones Grow Her Name, and even, dare I say, The Days of Grays. And I love The Days of Grays, but yeah, Pariah's Child just sounds better. Everything just feels lush. Everything feels natural. Everything feels smooth. It doesn't feel, I mean, and only in certain places do the songs feel disjointed, do the songs feel compressed and overproduced. But that is honestly pretty rare throughout this album. It's most apparent in X Marks the Spot and in that one section in Larger Than Life. But every other song, glass smooth, sounding wise. The songwriting takes a massive step up on here. It is way better than Stones Grow Her Name. Tony Kakko as a vocalist sounds amazing on here. Elias Viljanen delivers some juicy riffs. Love his performance on here. And then Pasi Kapanen, oh man, welcome to Sonata Arctica. Seriously, what an amazing performance. I mean, just listen to his performance on The Wolves Die Young alone, and you'll see what I mean. Tommy Portimo, once again, killing it behind the kit. But the MVP of this album, once again, goes to Henrik Klickenberg. I swear, he is just proven time and time again that he is what this band desperately needed. His piano and keyboard work throughout this album, another peak performance from him. What more do you want me to say? I especially love his performances on Running Lights, Cloud Factory, Love, and Larger Than Life. Like, these 4 songs, in my opinion, has his best keyboard work, if you ask me. Or at least his best piano work, anywho. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed Pariah's Child. I've always enjoyed this album. I will give it an 8.5 out of 10. A very strong album from start to finish. Huge improvement over Stones Grow Her Name. It is literally night and day between those 2 albums. But yeah, Pariah's Child, a wonderful album and a highly underrated album. I highly suggest you all give this record a listen. It is definitely a very strong album. So with that said, that concludes this edition of Magic Metal Mondays. Thank you so much for watching, my fellow YouTube divers. This is WaterDive122 signing out, ready to dive into more fun on YouTube. Thank you for watching.